Welcome back to our Turnbull Custom Guns YouTube channel. Today we're going to swap out some sights on the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. This one's a 45 Shield M2.0 Performance Center, but should be about the same for most of the shields out there. My customer brought in some of these high-vis sights for me to put on. So the first thing we're going to do is just field strip the gun and get down to the slide. So let's go ahead and do that. So when you work on any firearm, you want to make sure it is completely unloaded. Make sure you physically check. This gun is officially unloaded. So on these shields, they have a little cutout here. We'll slide the slide back and we'll twist our takedown lever down when we get to that point. You'll have to pull the trigger and then take the slide off. Remove our spring and a barrel at the top. That just makes it easy for us to put this in the vise to do a little bit of work on it. Okay, so on most traditional sights install from the right side of the gun to the left side of the gun as you're looking down the barrel. The Smith & Wessons, these M&Ps, they install from the left side to the right and come out from the right to the left. I don't know why, and on a lot of handguns it doesn't matter, especially the ones with these set screws. But these we're going to push out to the left, and we'll install from the left to the right, if that makes any sense. A lot of times when I take these off, the old sights coming off, I'll use a steel punch just because it gives good transfer. When I put the new sights back in, I'll use a brass. Oh, I already loosened up this. That's an important thing to know. So there's a 1/16 set screw in this one. Usually when there's a set screw, they can install from either direction. But I already loosened up the set screw here. There's a disconnector under here too that you're going to want to make sure it doesn't run away. There you go. That. And then the front sight. There we go. We'll chase that off the ground a little later. So there's our sights removed. Now we want to dry fit our new sights. So as you can see, when I install from left to right for the sight, it goes in 2/3 of the way. That's good. If you try putting it from this way, it only goes in about half. And for the front sight, that goes in a little past the edge of it, and a little less on this side. So let's install the rear sight first. This one goes in far enough that I don't think we need to do any shaping on the sight. So we'll go ahead and put in our spring and plunger. Push that down. I'm going to use a brass punch now. Just gently tap that. Make sure that stays under. It's going pretty good. If at this point it decides that it just wants to stop without normal, light hammer pressure, I would go ahead and file just so it tapers. But this one's going in good. I'm just using the edges of the flats to the side to kind of eyeball if it's in the center of the slide or not. The end user is going to have to you know, determine if it needs any more movement. You want to be careful that you're on the sight with this and on the base of the sight. You don't want to hit it up here because that will potentially mar and damage, and you don't want to be too low because you don't want to be beating on your slide. All right, so we don't forget, that one went in nice. We're going to tighten up this set screw. That'll lock that down in place. Now the front one's going to be a little more stubborn, and there's a happy medium here between too loose and too tight. And the way we're going to accomplish a little better fitment on this is by the use of a, get it? This is a specially designed sight file. It's 60-degree angles, and it only cuts on the one edge. So these are protected, so that way you're only filing on the edge you want to. Now, what we need to do on this sight is we want it to taper a little more from this side to the back. So we'll go in with the file with our cutting edge, our smooth edge towards the top, and our cutting edge facing down, and we'll just take a little bit of metal off on the front and the back of this side. Now this has a tritium lens and glass and a tube as well, so we want to be really careful that we don't squeeze this. Which means I'll probably not put it in the vise, but I'll use the vise to steady it on the edge. And I want to make sure the file is flat with the underneath of the vial of the front sight. You got to use the right side. Just taking a little bit off. Again, see, it's only cutting on the dovetail, and we're using the bottom of the sight to make sure we're cutting the correct angle. Turn it this way. We'll do the same thing. We're going to put a little more pressure on the nose over here because that's where we want it tapered. In the case of this one, it's probably just a little bit of a burr that's holding it. And just come in and just do a little bit of a manual fit. See, even that, just that little bit has allowed our sight to move in further. So we're just going to take just a little bit more off because we want this to be tight, but we need to make sure we can drive it in all the way. All right, we're going to try giving that a tap in. All right, we're going to go ahead and slide this front sight in now. Use a brass punch, making sure we're not too low. And there you have it. A little bit of brass will rub off.